morning. Give yourself a big hand clap. We made it here. The summer's just rolling. It's July the 11th, I think. Wow, it's just going too fast. Well, I hope you're having a great summer, and I hope you had an awesome July 4th. And I'm so excited about today's all-staff meeting because we are going to get a chance to hear some exciting news and information about our continued updates to our grade with our outstanding university communication and marketing team. I'm going to start off like we usually do. I'd like to, for any department, that if you've hired someone new, so if you're new within the Student Affairs and Enrollment Management Division, and you have not been introduced yet in one of our all-staff meetings, if you don't mind, please stand up. Hey, we can give a hand clap for someone else. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around. I want you to introduce your name, tell us what department you're working in, and then what you were doing prior to starting full-time as a professional with our division. And we'll go around the room and share that information.
I'm Sam Abbey. I just graduated from the CSA program in May. I'm now a residence life coordinator in housing and residence life.
Hey everybody, my name is Stuart. I am just started with the University Counseling Center. Prior to that, I was in Atlanta working at counseling agencies and individual therapists, and glad to be here.
Hello, I'm Lucy. I graduated from the University of Arkansas, spent a year in South Carolina, and now I'm the competitive sports graduate assistant.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the GA Fitness and Wellness. And for this, I was from Pennsylvania, working at a fitness club.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Fenwell. I also just graduated from the CSA program in May. And now I work as a departmental associate in admissions.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the University of West Georgia. My name is Brett Sauls. I'm the current coordinator of orientation here at the university, and I also just graduated from the CSA program. We have a great program this morning.
That's awesome. Tell you what, there's nothing like starting and ending with growing leaders, in which our College Student Affairs program has provided us two professionals, students who are becoming full-time professionals right here from our very own University of West Georgia. And then on top of that, from counseling and admissions and health and wellness, university recreation, it sounds like that we are continuing to grow. But I'm so glad that we welcome all you professionals to our family. Without any disappointment, I'm going to tell you that it is a fast pace. You won't be bored. There's a lot to do. And buckle up. So, before I turn it over to the team, I want to take one moment and Jami and I, Jami, the Associate Vice President for Communication and Marketing, we have a pretty strong partnership, and I'm glad that she allows me to work with her, and we can just team up, roll up our sleeves, and communicate the positive message about the University of West Georgia. But she usually allows me to say a few positive things, so I'm going to sneak a couple of them in and turn it over. What I want you to know is that our Go West campaign has been awesome, which you know that, but I don't know if you know that for literally 10 plus years or more, we've been ahead of our 26 plus public institutions in the state of Georgia. And what I really mean by that is telling the story of who we are, particular to our institution, West Georgia. We don't have to be any institution that's different in the state. We can be who we are, and there's no greater team that does a good job about that to help us tell our success story than University Communication and Marketing. What we've learned is Dr. Jordan could argue with me a bit, is that for enrollment and recruiting students to come in university to discover who they are and graduate and make a positive contribution to society, it's a tough competition for graduating high school students becoming college students. We know that a lot of universities are inviting students to come to their institutions, and we're no different. We want to invite students to come here and succeed as well, but what is our success story, journey, and path? Well, we know that out of our 26 institutions in the state of Georgia, 13 of them dropped in enrollment overall the past year. And we know that out of the comprehensive regional universities, in which we're one of 4, we were the only institution that did not drop enrollment overall and held steady. And you'll learn more and more about that because one of our all-staff meeting, Dr. Jordan and Dr. Adams and I, and Anne Marie, will give you updates about our visit from Ruffalo Noel Levitt, who came down and visited us and shared this information, things that you've been aware of, but I'm just giving you a bit of the highlights. With that being said, not only have we held steady, and now this year we're marching on towards our goal, and it's a tough battle, but we think we're going to be pretty close to hitting our goal for inviting new students to be a part of West Georgia family and holding steady with enrollment. But all of that cannot be done without us, one, knowing our brand, communicating who we are, from Go West to our logos, to our website, to our marketing, to the programs that you offer, and the partnership with the university communication teams to help publicize the information and tell the story. That's why we're 10 years ahead of our competitors who we cheer for and we want them to do well, but we want West Georgia to continue to be a leader in who we are. So without further ado, let's welcome the UCM team. And I'm going to first turn it over to Will.
Good morning. Good morning. So I would like to first allow you all to introduce yourselves.
Emma, Director of Web Services.
Stephen Broom, Director of Photography and Video.
Hi, Jami Bower, Associate Vice President for Communications and Marketing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Colton Campbell, Manager of Media Relations.
And I'm Brandy Barker, Director of Graphic Design. And this is Karen. She's our intern for the summer, so she's sitting in with us. We're not just skipping her. I'm just not going to put her under pressure right now.
All right, let's give them a round of applause and welcome themselves.
Good morning, everyone. We're happy to be here. So many people in the room we work with closely, and so it's good to see a lot of warm, friendly faces. And Dr. Whitaker, thank you for that lovely introduction. We're going to take you on the road with us this week to share this around campus because that was a wonderful opener. So we're going to kick off today with giving you some background on how busy we've been in the last year. And what we've been working on is refreshing the Go West brand. There's so much equity in this brand. Research shows us that. You can see it across our campus. You can feel the energy. So we are keeping Go West. We're keeping our now iconic shield. So we're keeping a lot of elements. But we have to keep it fresh. So we'll show you how we strike that balance. But first we want to kick off the day to kind of set the tone, get you in the mood, and show you a short video.
Are you one of us? We're the University of Trailblazers, path forgers, great minds, and independent spirits. When the world says no, we say go. Go explore. Go discover. Go west. Because this is your time. This is your moment. To go to the limits of your imagination and then go further. Go places you never dreamed you'd go. Go like your feet are on fire. Go like the world depends on it. Because it does. Go with open eyes and an open heart. Go create. Go connect. Go seek. Go inspire. Go launch. Go champion. Go lead. Because great minds know amazing things happen when you go west.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the background about this time last year, we took some time away from the office. We went off-site with our agency partner, MindPower, and we set up a day that we called brainstorming rather than brainstorming. And so we talked about the pre-brand work, the current brand work, and then where we wanted to go in the future. So by doing that, we spent close to an hour just walking through our milestones and our achievements. And it was eye-opening when we looked at all the just successes based on the partnerships on campus, within this team, and also with our agency partner. So we talked about admissions, and enrollment has grown over 20% since the brand was launched. So that's a stunning statistic. We talked about our applications and how they had grown. We looked at assessing everything we had done in the last 8 years. We have many audiences, and so we looked at better ways to not only attract prospective students and parents, but also how do we have our alumni on fire for this place? What about other ambassadors? What about the general public, our faculty, staff, and students? So we have many audiences that we serve through the brand. Also our awareness. We benchmarked research before we kicked off the brand, and roughly half of the individuals in Carroll County and a 9-county area surrounding us, moving into Atlanta, into Fulton and Cobb, did not know who we were. Within the 2.5-year period, 89.9% knew who we were, they were familiar with us, and about 82% had a positive perception. So we're working on perception now. We've got a good feel. Everyone knows who we are, but we want them to think highly about us, and to do that, we have to tell all the great things that are going on campus, so we continue to raise and elevate our reputation. There's always budgets to consider, so as a good steward of our budgets, we analyze all our media work, everything we're doing from a paid capacity to make sure we were optimizing that. We've moved a lot of our media mix into digital because it's more trackable. So we're always looking for moving that needle forward and looking at our ROI and making sure that every dollar is spent to its best capacity. We cheered the number of degrees confirmed. We're a part of the commencement day, and that's a great day of celebration for us. So we see that mark continuing to grow. We look at varying demographics, and you're going to see a lot of research today that went into this and a lot of creative testing, particularly on the different generations we're looking at, with Gen Z particularly. We talked about enrollment. We looked at our marketing footprint. We continue to permeate the Atlanta marketing area. It is the 8th largest media market in the country, and it's very expensive. So we have to figure out the best way to work with our paid media, but also have an organic social push, because we're learning, and you'll hear much more about this from the team, but every message we send needs to be authentic and it needs to be genuine. So it can't be too polished, but we want a professional face, but we also want it to resonate as something that's real, because our institution and the work here is very real. We look again at metrics. Eva has set up dashboards in real time, so I can look at, our largest marketing tool is the web. So I can go in, and if the campaign is running, I can track that URL for that campaign date, and then I have dashboards that show an amazing spike when we're on the air or on radio or television or have a digital campaign, and then when we're off, that spike's gone. So at a glance, that's a great way of justifying what we do, because real-time dashboards show our activities. Storytelling, you're going to hear from this talented team in a few minutes. We also spent a lot of time on our web revolution. Eva's going to walk you through that. But what we've done in the last 3 years, what Eva and her team have done, is nothing short of miraculous for the transformation of our website. Then finally, we looked at best practices of other people and creative strategies. So we all came to the table with ideas, and we looked outside of higher education. So we looked at iconic brands and what elements we liked, and what elements that we thought had some potential that could spark an idea for us. And so I'm not going to read all of these brands, but we had a really good, productive time in looking at, okay, open up the world, what do we look like next? So we stepped back and thought, what do we need to keep? Well, we know that there's some essential things we need to keep. We have positioned ourselves since the beginning as a land of opportunity. It's a place where you can make your mark, and the way we express that is go west. So that's remaining as a mandatory element. The other things that we were going to keep were our shield. It's so recognizable now. that we don't have to accompany University of West Georgia with it. It's known as a freestanding UWG symbol. So that's not going anywhere. Our color palette, which we wanted to bring to life, and I see a lot in the room, of course we're keeping that. Our primary font we're keeping because it's taken several years to get all of our collateral materials in that one look and feel. And then finally, our brand language. We are working on a new list of language kind of identifiers, but we know we're a place where we discover, we explore, we're adventurous. So all that essence and feeling is going to remain. But what could we do? We keep those, but what could be new? So we looked at we're calling it a novelty font. So we're introducing with limited use a font that I can't wait to show you. Brandy's going to walk you through that in a few minutes. Also, we're kind of pushing our color palette a little bit. We also have to be responsible and consider accessibility for the web and other needs. So we're looking at color in that way to push that a little bit. We're refreshing our, you probably have heard our music bed. I've had so many comments that someone's brushing their teeth in the morning and hear the music bed and know it's us when we're on television. So, but we need to continue to push that too. So storytelling, that happens not just through the words that are written, but also visually in our graphic design, in our photography, and our styles. So we wanted to reassess what can we do to push that. And then we have always been such a close partner with admissions, but we want to make sure that we're giving justice to our athletics program and also our largest body of ambassadors, aside from our faculty, staff, and students, and our alumni. So our strategy overview. So we know, and Dr. Whitaker did a great job of sharing this, we're in a highly competitive environment seeking students. So we can never relax. We've done well, we keep doing well, but it gets tougher and tougher. So at this point in time, what does that mean for branding? So we have to show that we are constantly trailblazing, because if we state those facts, that we're very progressive and that we're future-oriented and future-thinking, we have to show that constantly. And so we also have to position our peers in a way, they're not quite what we are. We do it in a nice way, but at the end of the day, that can be kind of old school, because we've got it going on. We are happening here. And so we want to show that we are ahead of the curve on that. And also, we want, through our storytelling, that it conjures the idea that, wow, they really are groundbreakers. So, with that being said, Brandy is going to, this is still me. Okay. No, okay, this is still me. Okay, we've done this so many times. This is the long version. So, brains can easily become bored. Think about times when you get bored. You need something as a stimulus to get you excited again, to make you want to learn more, to make you want to do something. So people are drawn to new ideas, new possibilities, new technologies. So our brand wanted to explore that. So we tested our theory. We've tested this with students, prospective students, and through focus groups, we've gotten a lot of great feedback on pushing the idea of something always new and fresh going on at UWG. Okay, this is you.
I made the mistake of joking about karaoke before I got up here. Now all I can think about is singing to you guys. It's not good. It's not good. So some of our institutional brand work, some of you may have seen some of these. A few of them have already been implemented in print and in outdoor strategies on billboards and things like that, digital screens. So as Jamie mentioned, anything but old school. So I'm going to read a couple of these to you just so you get an idea of that, the essence of some of the copy we're using. Welcome to one of the most dynamic universities in the nation, just west of Atlanta and ready to take on the world. Very aspirational, and you'll also notice large, bold, red text. We're really driving that point home today. So here's to new adventures, people, ideas, possibilities. When you go west, the sky's the limit. Blaze your own trail forward. So we're not abandoning the language that we've used before, we're just kind of refreshing and updating it. Seek out the frontiers. Forge ahead. That's how you make your mark. With more than 13,700 students and nearly 90 programs of study, we're a university of anything's possible. Our mission, to help you realize your full, powerful potential. Go West. Another really popular ad that tested well with our high school students that were from 9th to 12th grade. This is going to be actually on a billboard soon in Carrollton. Actually, I'll mention, this also works really well for our Alabama campaign because it defines where our West is. And some outdoor concepts. These are already running in the Carrollton and Atlanta market, so you may have seen some of this as well. This is a print ad concept. You'll notice some of these are not complete. They're only concepts, so they may have stock photography and they may have Greek copy instead of actual written content. So just know that that just hasn't been developed yet. So here's to new adventures, people, ideas, and possibilities. You'll see in some of the undergrad recruitment pieces that the Generation Z is really aspirational. They want to take on the world and they want to change it. So this is a nod to that. Here it is. So our target is Generation Z, and that might be 3 people in this room. So if these things don't resonate with you, there's probably a reason why. But between us and our agency partner, we did a lot of research to determine what they are looking for, what they are interested in, and how we can attract those students. So they gravitate to the visual over the verbal. All of the work should be heavily design-driven. They strive to get our new message across in limited select words. So you see those big, bold headlines and very little body copy. So the longer storytelling comes with other key audiences that you'll see toward the end of the presentation. And to inspire Generation Z to pay attention, we write to them with high impact text and low word count again. So some of the traits, they're entrepreneurial, they're self-branding, they have had a personal brand since they were 10 years old. You can look at their Instagram and tell that. They use the same filter on every photo. They use the same words about themselves. They have a tagline in their bio. So like they're way ahead of us on personal branding. So we have to race to jump ahead. They're realistic, loyal, socially responsible. They're very tech savvy. They've had phones in their hands since they were 4. They're totally digital. They can be homebodies and they value their privacy, which is why authenticity is a big deal for them. They expect instant gratification, of course. I think we all are in that boat now. The most diverse generation ever. They are socially, on social media, drawn to Instagram, Snapchat, and then some Facebook. And then less talk and more action. So, like I said before, strong importance of authenticity. And with that, they value user-generated content, which Stephen will talk about a little bit with photography and videography. So some of the things that you will see in the undergrad recruitment ads, lots of motion, lots of activity, like the skateboarder, again, a concept photo, but we have recreated some of these things in-house on campus with our real students. Big, bold, red text. We've also incorporated this brush stroke to round out the photography. It makes it look like there's been a hand in it. So they're used to seeing all of these digital pieces, everything's very clean, polished and professional, and this makes it look like there might have actually been a human that was working on this and creating these pieces. Again, very aspirational photography, big bold headlines, very little text. And then this is the typeface that Jamie was referring to earlier, the font. It's called Plume. It is a brushstroke font, a handwritten font. Again, it evokes that same feeling of someone might have actually been behind the computer doing this, and maybe they even did it with paint and a brush. It's very attractive, it's very eye-catching, it stands out and looks different in the mix of all the other digital media that's out there right now. And this also tested very well with our high school students when they came in for creative testing. One thing that you will notice is an updated word mark at the bottom. So just an updated, clean graphic that we're incorporating on some pieces. All of our traditional word marks are still available for use, and they're all interchangeable. But this is something that was just a nice refresh and update that you'll notice in the bottom right corner on all of our This is an athletics concept, and we drew a lot of inspiration for this year's athletics campaign, which you will see roll out in about 3 or 4 weeks at the most. We are very excited about that, so keep your eyes peeled, and I think that you'll see a lot of these same pieces just repurposed. So our goal is to really focus on the face of our student athletes this year, so that you know who they are, their fellow students know who they are, and our community recognizes them and acknowledges all of their hard work and dedication to our university. So you'll see lots of up-close personal face shots, lots of great storytelling, lots of great photos and videos, and potentially a whole new athletics website. That was a secret. Another ad concept for athletics, again with a focus on the face and a big emphasis on the red again as well. And then that translates into some of the things that Colton's going to talk to you about with our social media.
Hey everybody, like Brandy said, I'm going to talk about how our brand translates and plays out on social media. And a large part of that is our Discover You campaign that we launched recently. And I'm going to show you 4 concepts and that have actually been implemented that kind of identify with some of the ideas that we want to communicate to our prospective students. So Brandy and Jamie were talking a lot about the authenticity that Gen Z craves. They want to see that a person's values and beliefs are being shown through their actions. And so we wanted to put the camera literally in our students' hands in this case and give just a quote from them and kind of leave the marketing kind of behind the scenes so that they are speaking for themselves, they're taking their own picture, and they're showing their own story and how it can transform their lives if they go west. So on this first one, I just wanted to show you how we want to embrace the diversity. Like Brandy said, this is the most diverse generation that's ever existed, and so that's relatively easy for us to do with our increasingly diverse, high-achieving student body. One thing that Gen Z members want to feel is to feel unique. So we want to show what makes them stand out from everyone else, what makes them different. And also we want to show them how if they come to West Georgia, that they can differentiate themselves better than anyone else. And so Clay here really shows his uniqueness and by saying how he discovered himself by coming to West Georgia. Gen Z actually has shorter attention spans than my generation, millennials. And so we have to kind of have this snappy, meaningful content, just one sentence. I discovered my full capacity to inspire others from Alan. So you kind of have to get in, get out, and just state your claim plainly. And then finally, for the organic content, we wanted to make sure that, like I said, they match our values and beliefs. I discovered I can push myself further than I ever thought. I won't give up no matter what is going on inside or outside the classroom. That's what Jasmine said for her post. That kind of shows the entrepreneurial, the push ahead, the forging spirit that we want to encapsulate in our campaign. And all those were organic, just posts that we can post, at any time of the day. But then we also have paid campaigns that play out on social media. And those, they say sponsored right under our name, but we still want to kind of achieve that same authentic look and feel on Facebook and Instagram, even if the concepts are paid. So that is kind of how it will play out on social media, and I will hand it off to Lucy to talk about photo video.
Yeah, so the photos, talking about Generation Z and their penchant for craving authenticity, and the story should be real, and they just want to know that there's other people out there like they are. So in photography, so let's take it back a few years let's take it back 20 years. We would create these elaborate scenes in a lab, and we would light it with 3 or 4 different lights, and there would be shadow, and there would be drama in that. And those were great things, and we thought, hey, this is awesome. But Generation Z would look at that and say, you set that up. That's not real. Show me something that's real, right? So now, we said Colton mentioned everybody has a phone, maybe since they were 10. So everybody walks around with a camera now. And all the pictures are taken at about this far. There's a lot of themselves in these photos. So we're having to think like an iPhone when we go out and shoot. Maybe we do actually use an iPhone to shoot. The lens type that's in the phone is a certain width and it looks a certain way. So we have to rethink our lenses, how we light it. We don't need to have a lot of gloomy shadow drama in there. We need bright images. All of this is very bright and it looks, there's a few of them that look like they may be set up. But for the most part, they look like very organic scenes. So as somebody who's been doing this for 30 years the other way, right? Not lying, but just having fun with the shadows. Right? So we're having to rethink all of that. So that's why I have a young team so that they can go out and they know how to communicate that better than I do. But it's been fun to try to visualize what they could see. So we've got a lot of red in our colors, but we also have a little bit, we have splashes of all of this nice backlit grass here, with the yellow and a little bit of green there, backlighting, so this type of thing. It's just a different way that we're having to go out and think about. We want to take a picture, everything that's happening out here is real, but if we don't shoot it right, then it comes across as not real. And we don't want to get in the way of that story. So we're doing our best to make sure that we can communicate the real, what's real, what they will see is real right off the bat, and pay attention. And that's basically where we have to go with photography. And video kind of follows suit. Obviously the stories, they need to be authentic stories, they need to be unique stories. So we do enough of them that everybody has something that they can latch on to that's a commonality, it's relevant, it resonates with them, and this continues to be a very fun job for me. So I will turn that over back to Frank.
So this is just a splash of some of the concepts so you can see them holistically. And also, I think this is a great way to see the transition. So you see that handwritten font, you see the red, you see the big bold headlines, you see the faces up close, eyes, there's some personal touches in there. So this is an overview of our undergraduate recruitment ads. And now I'm going to sing after this. So obviously our graduate recruitment looks a little different than our undergraduate recruitment. So the traits of our target for grad is millennials and Generation X. They're busy. They value freedom and responsibility. They're technologically adept, resourceful, self-sufficient, and they're flexible. They gravitate toward convenience and low cost. They're also drawn to specific programs, so motivated by advanced degrees because they want to enhance their career opportunities. They're primarily on Facebook and Twitter, and they're self-determined and they have a can-do spirit. So we're going to target them in a little bit of a different way. We need a clean look and feel. We need something that looks a little more elevated and professional. They don't have that same eye. They're not scrolling quite as much all day, every day as our Generation Z is. So we want to inspire them to take the time out of their busy lives to come back to school and go make a new world. So are you ready to forge ahead? With more than 40 graduate programs online, get ready to meet a future wide open with possibility. Make your mark. Go West. So a sample of an animated web ad. Inspiring them, your future is wide open. It would transition to 40 plus graduate programs and then offer them that flexibility that they crave online and on campus. And here's a static ad for Facebook, a sample inspiring them to go make a new world, the call to apply. And then the same for Instagram. And then adult recruitment. Again, another group of people. Target is millennials and Gen X, similar in age but different lifestyles at this point. The biggest challenge with this audience is getting them to believe that there are new possibilities for them if only they would go west. Focus on inspiring them to believe that they can renew themselves, so a focus on a new opportunity for them. So traits, they're social, community-oriented, digitally competent, idealistic, global, impatient, and team-oriented. They're not as entrepreneurial or confident as Generation Z. They're primed for midlife empowerment. They spend most of their time on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, so you can see the transitions in their social media consumption habits. And the key here is unleashing some optimistic growth. So again, a focus on renew, go west, because it's never too late to venture outside of your comfort zone and blaze a new trail. This is the University of Transformation. Here, you'll get all the support you need to go back to college, finish your degree, and go for your dreams. This one turned black and white from UCM to the campus ballroom today. So perhaps we'll draw some inspiration here, but this is an animated digital ad concept. This will transition online, renew your career, renew your outlook, your dreams, go west. And again, it offers them that flexibility of nights and weekends, online, on campus, and gives them options for where they can take these classes. This is another digital animated ad with a focus on parents. We have some sample ads with mothers and children as well as fathers and children and families. That is a huge focus for adult learners. They're usually very busy with their families and children, so showing that it's possible to do these things at the same time. And then an outdoor concept, looking for a new direction. Another Facebook image ad concept, again, this is a dad and his daughter. And then one of the last groups that we focused on was alumni engagement, which is a tricky one, but we think we've got it figured out. Our UWG alumni audience wants their place. We want to strengthen their affiliation with West Georgia across all eras while raising engagement. So that's the tricky part. How old are we? That's a real question. We have a lot of alumni from a lot of different generations, so we're trying to target multiple groups within the same audience. So diversity is important demographically, that they're very diverse. So what they have in common is that they have a desire for UWG to reflect well on them, to be successful, ahead of the curve, and highly respected. So they chose West Georgia instead of more conventional choices. They spend their time on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then the key is to salute their penchant for the road less traveled. Stephen stole that word for me earlier, by the way. Y'all caught that. So one of the print ad concepts, where anything is possible, go west. New worlds await when you go west. Our graduates are driven by a desire to discover, to look deep into uncharted territories and forge fearlessly ahead. They're building better communities, inspiring young minds, and saving lives. While they take different paths, they share an inspired determination to explore, learn, and create. Forever West. A sample Facebook image ad, nodding to our shield that was not around when most of these people were students at West Georgia, but making it known here, and then Forever West. And then I'm going to pass on to Eva for Web Revolution.
So this beautiful brand will be reflected on the website as well. We have been working on a new design for a year already. All right, design goals. This is something that we want to accomplish in our new design. We want to develop a consistency between mobile and desktop. Today, it's more of users who come on our mobile devices to look at our presence. That's why we want to unify the look for the desktop and for the mobile. We want to improve the performance of our website. We don't want our visitors to wait a long time until they see any content. So if you take your device and you go to westgeorgia.edu, it should be very fast till you load the entire page. That means that we have to improve a lot of ways how we do our design in the back with respect to coding. We need to comply with accessibility standards. We have to make sure our website is accessible to anyone, especially to people with disabilities. Complying with accessibility standards is very important for us from legal perspective, and it's the right thing to do. We are putting focus onto a content. To bring focus into a content in a web board, it means that you have to simplify the web frame. And I will show you in a second how the simplified web frame looks like. We are providing a very large library of web components. It means that we want to meet every need to represent our content online. We're bringing the quality content in focus with a frame that looks like this. So this is very simple frame. It's a blank page with a UWG logo at the top and very simple navigation. That navigation will be consistent on mobile and on desktop and on tablets. It will be very user-friendly. Now, what happens between the white space is the content, and you all are subject matter experts of the content. We developed a brand, beautiful colors, beautiful topography, a new photography. This will fill out the blank space. Now, we will help you to do that with our very big library of components. We will have a new beautiful grids that change into list and grid layouts. We will have new tabs, new accordions, over 40 new web elements. Now, with 40 web elements, every element will also have 10 different variations. That will allow everyone to develop a beautiful web pages and beautiful content. And content that's very easy to digest by our visitors. And this is a sample how it will look on the mobile and on the desktop. Our new design is coming next year in the spring. My team will be reaching out to website authors during the fall semester, and you will see more targeted presentation about the web with all the possibilities during the fall. All right, thank you.
So thank you very much for the time, and I am so honored that I get to work with this talented team every day, because all the ideas we have, if there's no actions around them, they're just dreams. And so this team brings all of this to life. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer those. Yes?
I'm just curious, can you explain the change between now focusing more on red than the iconic blue that we have been doing, and what the explanations behind those are?
Yes, do you want to talk about branding, some of the change to red? Brandy is our designer, and she can speak to it in more depth than I can, but I can let you know that the power of the color red had a lot to do with that choice, and we also wanted to differentiate our new fresh brand, and so that was one way to do it. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's great. I can basically repeat what you said. Yeah, I think it has a big, bold impact, and I think that's the feeling that we want to evoke in people is that we're different, we're bigger, we're better, we're cooler. I don't know. We want to hold your attention, so we're gonna try that with this time. I think the darker blues, grays, blacks it's easy for those things to get pushed to the background a lot. Everything looks the same. So when you're scrolling especially, and there's a big, bold, red headline, it tested really well that people would stop and read it. It captured their attention for all of those 2.5 seconds that we have. So we went with that to test it out.
Yes?
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I love all of this. I love this new branding. I think it's really well done. And I know that we do a great job with admissions, bringing in all these students. But I also know that this generation values authenticity. And so are there some future plans maybe to change up and refresh graphics of what's currently going on campus versus getting them to come to campus? Because it does seem that there's some kind of disparity between, especially like I'm looking at student services, and I see athletics, I see kind of outdoor rec, getting students in, but we know with the rising mental health issues that there's some really serious issues on campus, and we need to help our students know what's here available for them when they get here. And so I guess my question is there some long-range planning to make sure that our marketing materials, getting them in, matches our marketing materials while they're here?
Absolutely, and we worked to make that connection because it is important. We have to have a certain level of aspirational feel to get them here, which you understand, but once they're here, it is important to connect those dots, and that's what a lot of the, yes, and I was gonna say, Brandy's working on this over here, you go ahead.
I will take this one, thank you. So any new requests for on-campus marketing materials that come to UCM graphic designers, they will be updated or refreshed with this look and feel in mind. That doesn't mean that all of you can go back to your office immediately and request that every rack card that you have in your building be updated today. But as you're needing those things and as your inventory runs low and you make those requests, all of them will be updated with this new brand look. If you have, I love this. We want everything to look like this. If we only had the time to do it all now, it will be a slow phase. So over the next 12 months, my hope is that all of you would make requests for everything that you're doing, especially larger pieces that have a lot high visibility, on campus, off campus, on the road, anything like that, that you would request those to be updated, and we'll work with you to do that. Put it in your budget for print.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question, and then we'll turn it over to the committee, who has also some information for our all staff team. One more question, is there another question? All right, let's give UCM another big round. Thank you. Your team is awesome, and it is evidence that you are experts. Thank you for coming to speak with our Student Affairs and Enrollment Management Group to let us learn more about your awesome work and then share the positive momentum. Next, I'm turning it over to Will, and I want to end with this note as we give to Will that we care about your feedback. We care about your journey and learning with us, and that's why we wanted to invite UCM with you to share about updates to our brand. But I will make a note to tell you, for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, you're going to hear in the future a little bit about enrollment from Dr. Jordan. You will hear about our priorities of advancing our values of care, a part of our division from Dr. Adams and Anne Marie. But we want you all along the way to give us feedback. And so, thank you so much, and I think that's what Will is going to talk about.
All right, so the All Staff Meeting Committee, we have a committee, and although we have a committee, believe it or not, these meetings can be hard to plan. So, and even then, we do still receive suggestions from you all. And so what we have on your tables is we have a sheet where you can write some suggestions on it for these all staff meetings. The new all staff meeting committee will be meeting next week to look over these suggestions. And speaking of which, I want to go ahead and introduce them. So Kate Oliver, she's been on the, if you all would please stand, she's been on the committee for a year now. So Kate, Michelle Hawkins, welcome. Sean Jepson, I believe they're out at CALB's actually on retreat, but Sean as well. Lauren Harris, and last but not least, co-chair will be Ashley Pollard. Thank you for joining me. All right, so if you all would just take about 5 minutes and write some suggestions on there. I will say a suggestion, well, not having the meeting is not a suggestion. So please write some suggestions on there that we can use. If there's anything that's particular to either you or someone you know, some contact information would be great. But you don't have to write your name on these. And then when you're done with them, you can just kind of fold it, and we'll just kind of just take a few minutes amongst yourself and write those suggestions. Feel free to talk with your neighbor. And go. All right, some pens. Does anybody need a pen? just curious, you don't have to, but did anyone want to share their suggestion? No? No one wants to share their suggestion. So if you're done, you can go ahead and, just like I said, just leave those folded up on your table. I'll let Dr. Whitaker close out the meeting, but thank you all for your suggestions.
Everybody, let's give our all-staff committee a big hand. All right, we take these final 60 seconds. One of the things I didn't say as you were writing the feedback, some of our future topics will be comprehensive administrative review. We're going to try to keep you updated on all the things that are happening on our campus. But in regards to the interim changes in leadership, we want to keep you updated with that. You'll continually hear from me and the leadership team as we keep you updated about our campus. What we know is that a presidential search committee is being put together, and what we can anticipate is that'll take about 3 months or so, but we hope to hear some new updated information by November, December, January. January is, I'm hearing, a closer date. And what we would expect is that it could be just about a year as we go through our interim leadership with our awesome village leader, Dr. Crafton. And then what that means for your division with myself and then also our leadership team, we're just going to keep trying to roll up our sleeves with you and serve well. I'm going to pause here and give my team a chance if they had anything to say. I know I'm putting them on the spot. Dr. Jordan, Dr. Adams, Anne Marie Reed. And lastly, I'll end with, we'll need your feedback, not only from today, but what we know about our division from collaboration, growth and development, and caring. We're going to ask you a bit moving forward about building on what we do well, and we think we care about students here. We think that we care about each other as professionals, and we care about success. So what that means is when you have a chance to contribute and provide us feedback, you're hearing directly from me as you will hear from the other leaders. Please do it. We actually care about your voice, and we want to build on what we do well and keep improving. Have a good morning, everybody, and thank you.